You've probably seen the sad news that Roadkill is coming to an end. So if you've no idea what that means, then this probably isn't the video for you. But if you're interested to know, and it's still worth knowing, Roadkill was an American series run. Well, it wasn't run. It was presented by David Freiberger and Mike Finnegan, who worked when it started on Hot Rod magazine together. And kind of accidentally, really, their bosses suggested it might be fun to record some video things, and somehow that evolved into Roadkill, which is basically having as much fun as you can with old cars, not spending too much money, no sort of blank checkbook restorations. It was just let's do engine swaps in car parks, let's buy cheap old bangers and see if they'll get us home and take us on an adventure. And it became addictive stuff. My friend Brian, who designed the Petrolhead hippie designs, just sketched it. I said, that's brilliant, I would like to print that. So we did. He put me onto Roadkill many years ago. And the first one I watched was the Jaguar, where they bought a small block Chevy engined Jaguar XJ12. And that is a car, is one of the iconic cars of the channel. Others being the Rotson, which is a very crusty Datsun 240Z, as they call them over there, with a Buick V6, I think, in it. There's Stubby Bob, a truck that they shortened so it would do wheelies, and General Mayhem, a Dodge Charger that they initially re-engined with an engine out of an old motorhome. So they cut the motorhome apart and dragged the engine out of it. It's just brilliant fun. The chemistry between Freiberger and Finnegan is what made it. Just as with Top Gear, the chemistry between Hammond, Clarkson and May, that's been the biggest problem. Everyone has tried to replicate that, but it's a very rare thing. And it doesn't mean they get on all the time. There are times when Freiberger and Finnegan, very different characters, don't necessarily get on. And that is all part of the fun, I think. But yeah, really, really good. Back in 2016, they did a collab with Mighty Car Mods. And that was absolutely epic. I remember that Christmas very well. They each put their own video out about their experiences. And you're just like, oh my gosh, this is two amazing worlds that I follow on YouTube coming together. So both of them are pioneers, Mighty Car Mods and Roadkill, of the modern day video format. But unfortunately, Roadkill was produced by a company and then another company and blah, blah, blah. So Roadkill was taken off YouTube and shoved behind a paywall, which I did pay for a time, but I had actually cancelled my membership because, well, it was largely in protest when they ditched Dirt Every Day. Which I really enjoyed, which was like Roadkill but with off-roaders. That was fun as well, especially as Fred Williams didn't seem the slightest bit interested in presenting. And that's what made it different, was no script, no plan. Some episodes were a bit weak because of that, but that just helped reinforce the reality of it all. Things just broke because they were doing crazy things. They didn't break because it had been scripted to do so. So for someone who'd come off the back of Top Gear and started really disliking it around the time Roadkill was building up, I was just like, oh yes, this is the one. This is much more interesting. So yeah, I hadn't actually knocked it on the head in recent years, but with a great degree of sadness, because I think it's awesome. And perhaps it's not the same as it used to be, but they've been putting that stuff together for like 13 years. You cannot keep the same level with something over that length of time. Hubner has changed immeasurably over the past 11 years. So, yeah, the eras, everyone will have their own favourite time period for a lengthy channel. Same with Mighty Car Mods. Mighty Car Mods are now very different from two blokes fixing cars on their mum's driveway. But yeah, things change, but it is very, very sad. But I'm very pleased. I mean, we knew this was coming because Freiberger's been posting more and more on YouTube. Finnegan was already doing so because, to give you a bit of backstory, they were based in California, which is where Freiberger lives. But after Finnegan, I think he got involved with Hot Rod garage as well. And then he was just like, this is too much. I'm not seeing enough of my family. So he moved back to Georgia, where he grew up, or where his parents had moved to, certainly. And that changed the dynamic of the program, because they weren't two chaps who work in the same office anymore. So that was a notable change in the tone of it. But nonetheless, when those two are together, it's just car magic. So yeah, I've been following Finnegan for ages. I'm following Freiberger now. Loads of the other presenters are moving to YouTube as well. Tony Angelo's got a very popular channel. He's Hot Rod Garage. So yeah, they're all oddly all going back to their roots. They're all going back to simple budgets and YouTube. So it'd be interesting to see what develops. Can the Roadkill format work without Roadkill? But yeah, it's interesting times. And just a reminder that for all of us, the future is always very, very uncertain. One rule change from YouTube, or the emergence of something better, and it could all be over. And that's something we're very, very aware of, all us creators. You don't necessarily get your spot in the under the spotlight for very, very long, and I think we're all aware of that. But by the same token, you don't know when your own life is going to end necessarily. You just make hay while the sun shines. None of us know. It's not predestined how long we're here, and that's YouTube as well as ordinary life. I've got a bit too deep here, haven't I? I've gone diving off the edge of the cliff there. That wasn't quite the intent. But I just wanted to give my thoughts, because I'm hugely grateful to Roadkill. They've been very inspirational in many ways. And I wish the presenters all the best. They'll never see this. But yeah, I do wish them all the best. And yeah, it does serve a reminder that life on the internet is a fragile thing. It can be gone in an instant, but I don't think we'll be seeing the last of them. I think they will be doing good stuff together. I don't know what's happened to the Roadkill cars, though. Again, there was another hint. One of the cars, they've got a Ford Ranchero that has featured throughout the history of Roadkill, and there was a Roadkill I saw where that was taken to a museum, and now lives in a museum somewhere. So you're like, okay, so all these vehicles exist. Some are starting to go to museums. What is the future for them? We don't know. Fittingly, this ties in with the Top Gear exhibition down at Bewley has come to an end. And again, what's going to happen to those cars? No one seems to know. It's interesting times, but yeah, it's a strange time. But yeah, sort of interesting. With the death of Roadkill, the death of Top Gear, the death of the Grand Tour, it feels like there's some real gaps there. And I don't know if anyone's going to quite fill it in quite the same way. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I should take some inspiration and actually try and do something a bit similar over here. Main issue being I'm not as good at working on cars as they are. And they did lots of things with V8 engines, which are plentiful, and the fuel is cheap in America. Very different. But yeah, stay tuned. We'll try and give it some thought. But anyway, I need to go and post some more merchandise. It's that busy time of year again, so thanks to everyone who's bought Hubnut merchandise. Head to hubnut.org if you wish to do so. And yep, see you back over on the main channel at some point. Bye.